Hello, everybody. Jim Malone coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. It is Friday. Happy Friday to everybody. I hope, well, this is a pretty awful, tough week in the market. I basically went to all cash. So I'm all cash right now. I did cover some shorts. I had a short on Lennar and on Costco. We exited pretty nicely. But I do expect on Monday that we're going to see a snapback in the market. But don't be fooled, because I think that this is going to be a what they call dead cat bounce and in the market. So basically, lots of pain out there. It's pretty much of a red day. We're down 600 points today, so not looking good if you're long. Kind of want to be in cash right now. Just want to show you sort of what we've got out there in terms of the overview. And the overview is, well, I wish it were better, but it isn't. The overview here, pretty brutal. The Dow Jones was down about 1.61%. We lost on that one. S&P 500, 1.72 down. NASDAQ was down as well, 1.80. That was the worst one. Well, no, I'm sorry. The Russell 2000 was the worst one. Now, see, the Russell 2000 is the most broad-based of all those indexes, and that's the one I think that really is telling the tale here, and the tale is not good. So we want to be in cash right now, and we want to get ready to short. I've been shorting. I don't like to hold shorts open longer than I can, but we may see some good opportunities coming up there. I'm going to be trying to put out as much information as I can on that. In the coming weeks or so. Right now, we are looking at the spider here, and as you can see, we kind of took a swan dive. We're all the way down here to 360. Not a good thing. There is support at 362 currently, and after hours is trading up a little bit, 368.32. So it's come up a little bit, but the general trend here is a downward trend. So we're going to jump on over to TikTok here to show you kind of what we've got in terms of in terms of that. As you can see, we made our high on the NASDAQ early, the local high early August, and it's just been down ever since. We got closed today at 368, and then we're up just a little bit after us. That's the dead cat bounce that I think we're going to see more of on Monday. But not a good situation when it comes to that. So just want to look at some strategies right now. I'm about 100% in cash, not totally 100%. I still have a few shares, and I mean a few shares of Petrobras. It's the only stock that I guess I'm out of Petrobras. Yeah, I have a few shares of LNG. That's it, and I'm really down to the bare minimum on that. So not exactly the greatest thing that you want to see. I do think we're going to take a leg down here from here. And what I wanted to show you basically is just kind of put up the comparison charts to kind of show you what I think is going to happen in terms of that. So this is the let me switch on over to the spider chart, which I think we can see here. Just moving over to that chart really quick. This is the comparison chart, but this is a lot easier to see. This is the spider. As you can see, we're moving, we're moving lower. And, this has been the performance basically, as I say, since the beginning of August. It's sort of been this nasty movement down. And I do think we're coming down to resistance here. This is the bottom of the consolidation. And again, even though these numbers aren't quite right, this is about 362, and I definitely think we're likely next week to go below that. What I do believe is that we are going to see it move even lower. So let's kind of go out a little bit further here, going out about a year or so. There we go. So we're starting to make the lower lows, and this is something that let's go back to 2020. We're starting to make the lower lows, and I definitely think this was right here. If we're looking at, I think we can see it. Let me see if I can move it over for TikTok people. There we go. All right, so this was the COVID low right here. And that COVID low, even though it doesn't show it on this chart because this is a percentage chart, this was this COVID low is where I think we're going here. And if that were the case, that would mean a retracement back another about 20%. So I think we're going to about 320 on the spider. That's kind of where I think we're headed, at least for now. So about 320 on the spider. So bring up the spider chart here. Look on that. Yeah, there we go. And with that, I think that's sort of where we're headed. There we go. Boom. All right. That's sort of where we're headed. I think we're headed down lower than 360, about down to 320. That's where we're headed. So not a good time to be long right now. It's a good time to be short and kind of gather our resources, and then hopefully we can do some shorting. But right now I'm all in cash, and I just wanted to be very clear about that. All right. Well, let's take a question from Charles. Thank you very much. Thank you for holding on. We have to talk oil. XOM dropped more than I anticipated. Will it be back above 87 anytime soon? Good question there, Charles. Appreciate that. Exxon Mobil, of course, is one of the mainstays. It's it's the old Standard Oil company, very, very large company. It did drop. Part of the reason is that the price of oil did drop today. So significantly. I don't think though that's going to last. I mean, I think we're going to get a bounce on this. I think we're going to get support at the 200-day moving average. But this was quite severe, big sell-off here, as you can see. And again, I had some oil. The only oil stock I had left was the only oil stock I had left was Petrobras, and I did unfortunately have to part with that. I wish I didn't, but did have to part with that because I always try to follow what they call the 8% rule. I don't like to be, if I'm down more than 8%, I sell, and that's just the way it is. So not an easy thing to do there. All right. So basically, do you think it'll be above 87 anytime soon? Wow. Okay. So that's basically here. Let's look at, I want to see the technicals on this one just to see kind of where 87 is relative to the index lines. Most everything, of course, is, the 21-day is at 93, and it's fallen below that, and it's fallen below the 50-day line. Ouch. So I think really what you got to do here, I think that the support is probably going to be at the 200-day line. And currently, the 200-day line is trading on Exxon Mobil at about 84. So here's what I would do, Charles. I would set my stop loss. I would set my stop loss basically at the 200-day line. Set it at 84. That's where I'd set my stop loss. I know that I always tell you to put it 8% below when you're entering the stock, but you're already in the stock. So I would draw my line in the sand right at the 200-day moving average. I think that if it pulls below that, unfortunately, it's going to probably move lower. This is a very good. The reason this is doing this, of course, is that this is a top stock. I'm not saying it's not, but because the whole market is breaking down, this is why we've got to be in cash right now or short, and probably be doing some more shorting next week. Hopefully, give you kind of a good plan of that. But if you're in Exxon Mobil, XOM, where you want to be, where you set your stop loss here, I believe, is at the 200-day moving average. So what I would do here is set a stop loss at the 200-day moving average, which in this case is 84.30. So I'm going to say 84 at 84, and that's where I put my line in the sand, because if it drops below the 200-day moving average, unfortunately, it and the entire market is probably moving lower. So just not the greatest thing. Oh, I put a question mark there, but 84 is where we want to be in terms of that. So that's where you set a stop loss on Exxon Mobil. I don't think it's going to. I think it's going to bounce there, but if it doesn't bounce at the 200-day line, it's probably going to go lower. So that's where I would draw my line in the sand. I think it possibly will bounce next week. So I do think we're going to get a dead cat bounce on this one, just because nothing goes down straight. But make no bones about it. We are in a downward trend right now. So just that's kind of the way it is. So I think what you got to do is draw your line in the sand. I would draw it at 84 on Exxon Mobil, and if it does bounce, well, then that's a good thing. Hold it. But if it doesn't, then you're going to be out and be in cash. So that's kind of the situation. The whole market is turning over, unfortunately. I wish it wasn't, but it is. So we've got to be very, very careful about that. All right. We're going to take two car stocks here. We're going to take Tesla and we're going to take Ford. Both of them have, kind of, well, first of all, let's first look in on Tesla. TSLA, of course, is the symbol for Tesla. Look at that one first, and it had the same kind of issues that Tesla is having the same kind of issues that the rest of the market is having. Flip on over to TikTok. There we go, so you can see it. All right, see the chart. Basically, the situation with Tesla stock, we blew through the 50-day line. This is a key level of support. We're below the 200. We're below the 50, and so we probably are going to see it move down. I don't think it's going to move down to the 200 level, but when the whole market is breaking down like this, we could see this. There's some support at about 265. That's where the last low was. So we're about we're about 10 points above that. So again, if I was down more than 7% on this one, I think you just gotta part ways. It's just one of those. It's just one of those things. I mean, you just can never let a stock move against you more than about 7%. You just really can't, because if you do, then it could go to 9%, 20% on down. But here's the thing with Tesla: if you're in the stock, and I would probably start pairing losses. I would cut half of it here, and then see if we get some support. But if it moves below 265, I think you just got to dump it, because it's probably going to go lower. Now it possibly will recover, but here's the thing: it's better to cut your losses and then wait until there's an uptrend and then buy it back, rather than just holding on and taking that elevator right down. So we want to kind of be careful. We want to be maintaining our cash here, and so that's the main thing. Let's take a look at Ford as well, and I'm going to do a comparison on both of these stocks. But Ford is also the other one that it's been breaking down for a while. This is the last 2 or 3 months. Ford has not been trending as well as we'd like. I mean, it just hasn't. It also is trading below the 50-day line. This is a key indicator that it probably is going to go lower. Now it's coming down, and then it's kind of going sideways, coming down again. But you notice how nothing goes down totally a straight line. Here's the thing about Ford. I think you gotta part ways with this one if it gets down to $10. Again, that's sort of the line in the sand that I would be making. Let's compare both of these shares. Let's compare Ford with Tesla here, just to kind of see what's going on with both of these. So let's go over here to the comparison chart. This is Ford, as you can see, and it was kind of bottoming, and now it's going to make a lower low. And when it makes a lower low, that's kind of where you want to start heading for the exits, I'm afraid. TSLA, of course, is the other one. Similar pattern. As you can notice, they're very, very close to each other. As a matter of fact, let's do this. Let's take a look in the last quarter and get a little bit bigger, kind of see what happened. Actually, Ford, up until about the first week of September, it was outperforming Tesla, if you bought it there. But now, well, it's underperforming Tesla, and it is up a little bit, but I think you just gotta to part ways with Ford. Where I would be parting ways with Ford would be right at about the $10 mark. So that's kind of where I would be looking to jump out of Ford there. All right, let's take a look from Christina. Thank you. We're looking at the Qs, the QQQ. Now, the QQQ for everybody out there is the NASDAQ 100 ETF. This covers all of the stocks in the NASDAQ 100. And this has been faring very, very poorly. This is one of the worst performing indexes, sadly speaking. And it definitely fell off, it fell out of favor today. It's below the 250, 21, and 10-day lines. So it is not faring well either. Right now, I mean, really the only place to be, I think, is in cash or short. And that's sort of what I've been doing. I don't have any, I have nothing in the small portfolio, and I have a few shares left I have a few shares left of LNG, but I want to show you the shorts that I did today. And I did make a little bit of money on the shorts, so we will be taking a look at that in just a second. But this is, this is the NASDAQ here. This is the QQQ, which covers the NASDAQ, and it just isn't looking good. I think you just, again, if you're down more than if you're down more than 7%, I think you just got to cut. I think you just got to cut and run if you're down more than 7%. Remember, you can always buy back when the stock moves higher, but right now, not so much. So I'd be super careful. Now, I've been all doom and gloom here, and I don't want to be doom and gloom. So let me show you what I did today to make money in this market. This is a tough market to make money in, let me tell you. I did do a short on Costco today. And I'll show you where I entered and exited. Here, we're jumping over to Costco. There we go. Yeah, okay. And let's see. There we go. Now, I haven't. Okay, there's the chart. I got it done. All right. So basically what happened today, this is Costco. I entered the short. I entered the short here basically at, at 476. And, it was really small short. It's only 10 shares, very small. And then it pulled all the way down about 10 points, all the way down, and I exited right about here. I haven't actually updated the chart yet, but I did this prior to, prior to close, because what I did is it's when I found this thing going, and it went hard after earnings, I jumped in and then I shorted, and then I covered. Now, the reason I covered here is because I didn't want to hold it into the weekend. If this had been during the weekday, I would have held it. I probably will buy it. This week, more than likely, again. But on the 5-minute chart, you can take a look at it. Yeah, there we go. All right, so you can see just kind of this whole deterioration. Really, this is where we basically entered here. And then I covered here. Now, the way you short, when you short a stock, what you do, now you have to have a level 3 options account. So not everyone can do this, but you have to have a level 3 options account. And what you do is you borrow the stock, you then you then sell it immediately, and then then you wait for it to go down, and then at the end of the day or whenever you want to close that short, you buy back the shares, and it's closed out. And the difference is going to be, obviously times the number of shares that you shorted is going to be the profit or the loss on the thing. If it goes up, of course, you want to close the short. Now, if you'll notice at 486, this is where I would have closed the short had I got it wrong. And you do that with a special with a special order called a buy stop limit order. And that's what I used to do that. Now, we did that today on Costco. We also did that today on Lennar, and that's LEN, that's a home builder. And we were fairly successful with Lennar, not quite as successful as with not quite as successful as with as with Costco. little brain freeze there. This is where we entered yesterday, basically. Well, on Wednesday, we entered at 77, 87, and then we basically covered right about here. So not quite as much, not quite as much. But this is where we covered. But we did make a little bit of money on it. It was a nice little trade. Again, I closed this one prior to the weekend just because not want to take that the weekend risk. So that's been kind of the deal there. All right, so let's get back to the questions. Thank you so much. And Charles, again, let's see. What is the cash ETF? This is a very good question. Thank you very much for this, by the way. There is a cash ETF, believe it or not. And let me see if I can give you that. And it's a GSY, I believe. Yeah, it's the GSY. Let's see if I do it there. Preserving capital. All right. Yeah, GSY. There we go. Okay. So let me just show you the. Oops. Yeah. Let me just show you the ETF that covers cash. So what we're going to do here is it's called the GSY. And there's several other ones of this. This is the only one, of course. But this is the GSY. That this is called the ultra short duration. And as you can see, it's basically kind of flat. As you can see, it's basically kind of flat right now. So if we look at this and we compare it to like the other major index funds, that's kind of what I want to show you here. So let's do that. And all right, so this is the GSY. This is the GSY, and as you can see, it's very, very flat. Since the beginning of the year, this has basically lost about 2%, which is correct. I mean, which is correct. Let's go a little bit shorter than that. Let's go to. Very good. So this is the last quarter. So I think this is easier to see. Basically, totally flat. This is the cash. This is cash. Now, if we were to compare this, and this is why, we really need to be in cash right now. If we compare this to the QQQ, which is the Nasdaq 100, we can see, well, it's better to have been in cash than the QQQ. Now, if we compare that to the Spider, you can see it's better to have been in cash rather than Q. So this is basically it. There is a mutual fund that you can get into. It's the GSY, and it essentially is the cash equivalent ETF. So believe it or not, there is something that we can do. So the cash equivalent ETF is the GSY. That's the symbol for it. That's the symbol for the cash equivalent. All right, so that's basically the cash equivalent here. So as you can see, at least in the last quarter, this is the last quarter basically that we're showing the performance. Actually, cash has been a better performer. So let's look at one that might have had better performance. I'm going to look at Celsius. This is one that is setting up as a short, but let's look at it. CELH is the symbol for Celsius. Of course, it's coming down now, but it had been in the last month outperforming all of these indexes. This is a single fund. I'm probably going to be shorting this one this next week if it holds up on what it's called Celsius Beverage. You're probably familiar with it. I think this one is going to break down. Now, just showing you the other ones that I have shorted is Lennar, and that's kind of similar, not quite as severe. And then Costco, and so sort of similar. But this is one I'm probably going to, as the market turns over, this is probably the one I'm gonna short. Why? Because it has a lot more to go down. So we can get a lot more juice out of this one. So I'm going to show you Celsius Beverage, CELH, and let's see if we can bring that up. There we go. It's called Celsius Holdings. There we go. And you can see it's fallen off the face of the earth here. But this one I think is setting up as a short. We're going to see how it trades on Monday. I suspect we're going to get a bounce. Well, not even. It's going down after hours, so we may be entering a short on this one after hours. You notice very, very high selling volume here. This one could come down 10-15% very, very easily. You want to take the former leaders. Those are the ones that are going to be the better shorts. You notice how it's coming down to where it's shortable. Let's look at the weekly chart to kind of see the best entry here. Yeah, you see how we're all the way up here and we're starting to get some resistance. So I definitely believe very easily could come down to 40. This could cut 50% of its value right away, very, very easily. So this is the one, and there we go for everybody on TikTok. This could easily cut 40% or 50% of its value very, very quickly. This one I'm probably going to be shorting on Monday. It's Celsius Beverage. It's been doing great, but I think that, once the air starts to go out of the tire, boy, it just goes fast. That's really when you can make your money shorting. So that's sort of that's the one that I am probably looking short on Monday. It's not short now. I decided not to short it towards the end of the day because it didn't really appear on my radar screen. But this is the one I'm probably going to be shorting on Monday. So wait and for that. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's take a question from TikTok. Thank you for holding on. Thank you for holding on here. All right, we looked at Tesla. Okay, we looked at Ford. Okay. Okay, so we've looked at Jim. Your day trade, scalp. Well, since it's after hours, there's no day trade or scalp, but it's Celsius Beverage. That's probably the one I'm going to be shorting on Monday. So that's the one I'm looking to short. Why? Well, I like it. I mean, I have never tried Celsius actually, but the stock has been great. But typically when everything gets going like this, that's when that's when the trouble is brewing. Let's see how close to let's see how close to the pivot it is. Well, it's above the pivot, so I definitely think it could fall below the pivot and then some. The pivot on this one is 93. Is that right? Did I get that right? Yeah, 83. Excuse me, 83. So we're a little bit above that. I do think we're going to see it move lower. That's my guess. Go over here to the daily chart to see if I can see that consolidation. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So here it is. There we go. So this is where I think it's going to fall to, and it's fell to that, and you see it bounced there. Okay. You see how it came in and it bounced. Let's see if I can. There we go. So this is 83. This is where the pivot is. It came down. It bounced right on that. It's really amazing how this works. If you look and you go all the way over here, you can see 83 was where that was the pivot. So it's really interesting how once it makes these marks, if you can remember where they are, that's usually where the resistance is. So it bounced there. I think it's very likely. I will be shorting this if it moves below 83, and I think it's very likely that it will. I may short it a little bit earlier. I definitely think we probably get a run up and then a move back down, because typically these things don't go down in a straight line. We always want to short it as it's moving higher. So my guess is on Monday, we're likely to see the Celsius move higher, probably up here, about to here. This is where I'm thinking it's going to go, a little bit over 91. And then if that happens, boom, I'll probably be in it, selling it. You can see at the end of the day, there was a lot of selling coming in here. So that's kind of my play on that. All right, well, everybody, I've got about 30 minutes here, and not a whole lot else to report. You need to be really considering going largely into cash right now. The market is pretty unstable, and I just think it's a good time to be in cash. I'm about 100% in cash now. I do have a few little shares left of LNG, but that's about it. Everything else I'm short, and I've closed all my shorts for the weekend. I'll probably be opening them up on Monday. But if you're not already a member, of course, of the Action Trade Alerts, please, would like it, of course, if you would join our, if you would sign up and like it. Of course, we like it when you like it. So please like it. Please like it. And then also, if you're not already, if you're not already a member of the Action Trailer, it's very easy to do. If you're looking on the web, just go to www.Dallas Trading Floor. If you're looking on TikTok, super easy. Just go to the link in my bio, click on that, and you'll see the thing, first and last name. Of course, this is free, and you get updates as well. So also, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'd really appreciate that. So until Monday, I am signing out for the weekend. Everybody, I hope everyone has a good weekend. You want to be in cash right now. The market trend has moved against us. We're in a market in correction. So you want to be kind of in cash, but we want to have dry powder because there's going to be some opportunities. I'm going to be probably showing people how I'm shorting the market next week. So until Monday at 5. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend. Happy trading.